Hello, I'd like to welcome you to our webinar this afternoon. This is one in our series called Keep Calm and Get Digital. My name is Rhonda and I will be your moderator for today's webinar. We've been delivering informative webinars with a lot of valuable information to support businesses to adapt and change to the new ways of doing business. Every week we're discovering new change that is happening in the marketplace, and we are paying attention to this and designing webinars to help you navigate through. Today, our webinar is on how to position your brand and business in the digital world. I'm just going to share my screen again so that you can see our speaker, John Homer. John is the director of Afina Agency. John has a wealth of knowledge in the online space and has been pivotal in helping many business owners adapt and change and to get online. He specializes in strategic business analysis and has seen many of his clients get great results online. Just a bit of housekeeping if you've not been with us before for a webinar. There is some audio settings to the bottom left there if you're having trouble hearing us. This is the section that you probably need to just have a little play around with to make sure that you can hear us clearly. The next is if you have a question, you're welcome to pop it through on the Q&A section and we can ask John those questions directly with him. There is also a hand raising area. Just be warned, if you do raise your hand, that brings you live through to the webinar. So if you don't want to be live, just pop your questions through the chat or the QA. And if you've missed something, we are going to be recording the webinars and putting them out onto our YouTube channel. So if there's information that you're wanting to just take special note of or you're missing some of it, just feel free to check back in with our YouTube channel in a couple of hours after the conclusion of this webinar, and we'll have it posted up online for you. So, as mentioned before, our topic is how to position your brand and business in the digital world. John, I'll hand time over to you.
Kia ora, e malua. Thank you, Rhonda, for the wonderful introduction. I'll just share my screen now. Alrighty. So today I plan to give you 5 simple tips or focus areas on how you can position your brand and business in the digital world, enabling you to promote your brand, product, and service to your target audience. Now, you might find that these tips that I'm sharing with you today might be tips that you may already be implementing or doing currently. And for those that are, well done. I hope that I can add something new to what you're already doing. And for those who aren't, then this will be extremely valuable to you. So, what are we going to cover off today? Now, the 5 focus areas of today is going to be kicked off with audience. Now, audience is vital for any business trying to attract customers to do business with you. Second is unique positioning. Knowing what sets you apart from all your competitors can often give you leverage. Third, values and personality. How you can use this to engage and build credibility and trust, which is what last week's webinar was about. 4, name and logo, and how this can also make it easier for your clients to remember you by. And last, digital media channels. What is available free, what is available paid to help you build your brand and position your business in the digital world. So let's get to it. Now, I want each of you to ask yourselves the following questions. Do you really know your audience? Do you really understand your customer? Especially for the services and the products that you provide for them. Now, obviously, knowing your audience is probably the most important piece when looking at promoting your products and service to them. So stepping back and taking some time to research your audience and truly understand your customer pays dividends for you and the client. Now, I'm sure you have invested countless hours of your own time or even those businesses who've actually paid a lot for consultants to help you really understand your target audience, to truly understand your client. But it's asking these questions. Where does your client spend their time? How many customers, personas do you think you might have? And how you might want to position your brand and advertise in front of them. So if you haven't done this yet, then here's where you can begin. You can begin by researching and taking some time to understand your audience. By doing this, it will help you truly understand what customers or what segmentations of customers can you list. Obviously, after researching and doing and doing your homework, you want to be able to list your target customers and end users in categories. In some cases, some businesses call them their A client or their B client or their C client or their D client. And in some businesses, they have a strategy in place to try to attract those A clients or those B clients or C or D. You want to be able to identify who are the early adopters by listing out their characteristics of the ideal client that you want. By putting together these specific traits, it will help you truly understand who it is that you're wanting to target, but also it'll help you sit back and really understand, well, what does the customer journey look like for my client, and what is their pathway to purchase? So knowing this will enable you to truly understand what services and products do you want to help that end user or client and their problem that you want to resolve. So knowing who your audience is what your customers like, where they spend their time, and also what they are looking for makes all the difference when promoting your brand and positioning your business online. Especially for us marketers, especially for us people or businesses or digital marketing agencies that truly can add value to you. The more that you know about your audience and the more that you can tell us about your audience helps us truly achieve our goal, which is deliver that audience to you. Now, for some businesses, they rely on their website. They've invested a lot of money in their website to either do one of two things: generate them leads or generate them sales revenue. But for some businesses, and you might be one of these businesses, you might only have a social media business page. You might only have a Facebook or Instagram or Twitter page. And you're relying on this source or this digital platform to generate you perhaps leads, inquiries, or to generate you sales as a result of you selling your product. But here's some free digital online tools to help you really understand your audience. And it will provide you with data that will help you make informed decisions around whether or not to spend your marketing dollar in other places. So here we have 3 online tools. Once again, you may already be doing this, or you may already have a Google Analytics account. But more than 10 million websites use Google Analytics. And you got to ask yourself the question, why? Well, I tell you what, Google Analytics gives you an in-depth look on who's coming to your site if you have a website. What are they doing on your site? How long are they staying on your site? What pages are they landing? What buttons are they pushing or clicking on as a result of the Google Analytics account being created? Once again, even if you do have a Google Analytics account, even if you've connected it to your website, you still need to set up the conversion goals within the Google Analytics account so that you can monitor and measure, well, what is actually working for you, and then you can monitor and or decide on whether or not to invest in a digital marketer to help generate you some leads to convert into end users or leads or sales. The second free tool is Facebook Audience Manager. Now, for those businesses that only have a Facebook account or Facebook business page, were you ever aware that this tool was available for you to really understand who is coming to your page? What are they looking for on your page? We can with Facebook, utilizing Facebook Audience Managers tool, it will allow you as a business owner to understand what your clients want, what your clients or what your end users are expecting to hear or see. And by understanding that, it'll help you promote your services a lot better, especially from a digital perspective. Okay. Third is Twitter Audience Insights, and Twitter Audience tool is very, very similar to Facebook Audience Manager, but just on the Twitter software. So utilizing these free online tools will help you understand your online audience, which will then allow you to provide the best solution for your end user or clients. Second is USP, or unique selling proposition. Knowing what your USP is will assist you in knowing exactly what value you can offer your audience and assist in helping you trump your competitors. The thing is that every business is trying to trump the other business. Now, if you're not too sure what your USP is, then you can begin with the following. You can begin with what makes you or your business different and worth paying attention to. Now, a lot of businesses that I've always spoken to, or business owners that I've always spoken to, often know what the USP is. But then in the conversation, we then identify that there's probably 3 or 4 other perhaps maybe competitors in the same industry that offer the same thing, or that might do the same thing. The USP for me, I think, is about, well, what is going to trump your other competitor? What are you doing differently that your other competitor isn't, that is going to allow the end user to pay attention to you and none else? Second thing is, if you're not too sure what your USP is, then list down 1 to 3 problems that you solve for your customers. And the reason why I've suggested that you look at the first, maybe the top 3 problems that you solve for your customer, is it often sets you apart from your other competitors. If you truly know what problem you solve for your customer or for your client, then that's what often your client is going to be searching. Is they're searching for the problem to be solved. So if you can do that, if you can provide a solution and outline a solution, it will allow you to not only form your USP, but allow you to ensure that you gain trust and credibility by the end user. Value and personality. Now you might wonder why. Why does value and personality have anything to do with brand and positioning in the digital world? Well, if you're a service-based business, then using your values and personality often increase credibility and trust. So promoting the values that you live and die by often draw customers in that have the same values. It creates trust, and to be fair, it makes them purchase. So in most cases, knowing your values and personality, and especially with the old saying that people buy off people, well, I beg to differ. And that's because I don't think that customers buy from people they like. I think they buy from people they trust. And if you can build that credibility and trust by perhaps maybe promoting a value-based business page or on your website, or even a social media, or on your social media network, it allows you to draw in a segmentation of your customer, which is what I referred to earlier. By listing down your customer segmentation, by identifying the type of personas or client personas that you promote your services and products to, it increases the chances of your products, or it increases the chances of your services being purchased. Another thing is aligning yourself in business to big brands and influencers. And this also helps with the brand exposure. Obviously, if you're not aware, ASB have released this this branding exercise where, for any small to medium enterprise business, that you can get a sports hero. And in my words, I think that the All Blacks are heroes, even the Black Ferns are heroes, and so they're promoting that if you that if you sign in or write in, that you can attach your brand to an influencer. And so by building your brand. Aligning yourself with businesses or big brands or influencers often help increase their credibility and trust, which increases value and your personality. Having a testimonials page on your website always pays dividends. The reason why I think that is a fantastic thing to do is because you've got other people promoting you for the things that you do very, very well. So having testimonials, having those clients of yours that you've really delivered and gone over and above for, having them provide a testimony for you, and then you having that as a specific page on your website also creates value, but also creates a bit of personality as well. And lastly, there's strategic partnerships or affiliation pages. A lot of businesses that I seem to deal with or that I know often like to promote who they've strategically partnered with or if they have an affiliation with, because it creates that value. So I would anticipate, or I would encourage each of you, if you haven't already done so, to look at including a values and personality piece in your branding and positioning in the marketplace. Well, we don't have to go too far when we look at a name and logo to find two great examples of a good name and logo to help your brand and position your product and services with the likes of Google and Amazon. Now, who would have ever thought that Google would have become internet's #1 brand, and Amazon, who borrowed its name from the great Amazon River? And the reason why they borrowed it was two reasons. First, because Jeff Bezos, who's the founder of Amazon, wanted his business to become the largest online shop in the world. And second, because it began with A. And back then, when websites were being built and listed, they ranked websites alphabetically. So when Afina and Zeald built websites or create a campaign event calendar or put together a digital marketing strategy or deliver our service for our clients, we often base the fundamentals of the digital promotional campaigns off the business name, logo, objectives, products, and services, coupled with objectives of the client. And so obviously choosing the right name and logo for your clients that they always remember. Obviously, for those who are probably listening on this webinar, you've probably already got your name, you've probably already got your logo. But I'm hoping that perhaps at some stage throughout that phase or that process that you considered a number of this. The name you choose can often support and assist in the different types of media channels that you choose to advertise in. Website Zeald designs build and develop using client's name and logo as part of their design review and planning out of the strategy and wireframe to create the look and feel of every site that we build. So name and logo builds a lot of credibility and trust around the branding and positioning of your business. Now, lastly is digital media channels. Now, obviously, these are choice of preference here. You've obviously got free versus paid. And I would always go down the what's free route first. So what I'm going to share with you is some free channels or online digital channels that I think is very important that you consider before perhaps even looking at paid services. So what we have here is, well, what digital channels are available to promote my brand and position my products and services online. First is Google My Business listing. If you haven't already got a Google My Business page, then I encourage you to go on Google as soon as this is finished and search how do we create a Google My Business page. Google will provide you with a step-by-step process of creating your own Google My Business page. So generate a Google My Business listing and page. Second is, if you haven't already done this, but connect yourself with all of the free online directories. And all you really need is a free business listing. You can go to Yellow, you can go to White Pages, you can go to Finder, you can go to a whole bunch of different online directories and connect your business name, your phone number. If you have a website, put your website in. If you don't have a website and you have a Facebook page, I'm not too sure if they allow you to, but perhaps you can put that Facebook page link in, or you might even just want to put your LinkedIn page. But what I'm saying is that connect your business with every online directory to try to piggyback off their search engine optimization. So generate a free online listing. Third is social media platforms. I'm sure that if you haven't already done so, you've created your own Facebook business page or your Twitter or an Insta or Pinterest. But if you haven't already got one, then I suggest and encourage you to do so. Create a business Facebook page, and if you don't know how to do it, well, you can call me or you can call the team here at Zeald. We can help you set that up for you. And then you can also even look at free off-the-shelf DIY website builders. Now you're probably wondering why is John encouraging us to perhaps maybe even consider a DIY website builder? Well, I tell you what, if you do consider going down this route, you'll end up calling me in the next 6 months to figure out how we can fix it or how we can help you to build you a new one. But what I'm saying is that there's free online options there, and there is off-the-shelf DIY website builders. But oftentimes, I need to ask you the question: do you even have the time to build your own website? If you don't, then perhaps maybe you can consider us as an option. Last is MailChimp. Now, obviously, if you're looking at trying to generate a database, then you can use MailChimp as a tool to be able to set up and interact with your clients. Now, obviously, MailChimp, you can utilize that if you've got the information of the end user that you want to contact, or two, if you've got a website and you're wanting to create a lead magnet so that you can exchange information over that first couple of seconds that the end user enters into your site. You can utilize perhaps a free brochure or an exchange of information so that you're taking their details for the information that you're going to give them. So there is free options and tools available to allow you to consider positioning your brand and increasing some awareness of your business online. Now, digital media channels from a paid perspective. Now, obviously, when you're considering a digital marketing agency, you need and in my eyes, I think you would need to consider, well, what do they actually specialize in? And what areas and categories do they specialize in? Now, for us at Zeald, we specialize in a number of different things. Two core things that we specialize in. We specialize in website design, build, and we host our websites that we build. We also deliver a whole bunch and range of services from a digital marketing perspective. Now, I won't get into too much detail, but from a website point of view, we build from anything from open source content management systems, from WordPress to Shopify to Squarespace to Magento 2. We also build off our proprietary system called Zest, which is what my equivalent is to Magento 2. We also delivered digital marketing services such as Google AdWords. So we provide management for that. We set every campaign up aligned to each of our clients' specific services that they provide, but we target them based on the customer persona or the client that we're wanting to attract. So everything that I've sort of referred to earlier on is basically built and strategized as a result of the delivery that we do on our AdWords management campaigns. We also provide search engine optimization specifically on majority of all of the websites that we deliver, and only on, in most cases, open source content management systems that we provide. So if we deliver a particular website content management system and your website's built on that and you require us to do search engine optimization on that site, we would deliver that strategy and deliver that work for you. Unfortunately, we don't deliver search engine optimization on a content management system that we don't deliver. And so in that case, we offer our consultancy as a result of that. We offer conversion rate optimization. A conversion rate optimization allows us to work on the website as well as converting clients throughout the the conversion pathway that your particular client that you want to take them through. So working and strategizing and implementing that strategy. Some of our marketing specialists are fantastic, which really get involved in your business and allows us to really identify and promote and position your particular brand and business online on the different various channels that your any audience is searching and looking for your business on. Email marketing and management, we do that. We specialize in MailChimp. We also specialize in other different email marketing software as well. But we work on the whole strategy as well as delivering that service for all of our clients and achieving the objectives of the clients that we partner with. We also do social media marketing management. We don't only just manage these social media ads that we run, but we also fix and often clean up a lot of business Facebook pages that were created originally from the business owner. We take it through I suppose a 20-point check, allowing us to really understand who and making sure that the business Facebook page was set up correctly, and then ensuring that it's aligned with the event campaign calendar that we discussed with our clients. Now, I know that I think that's been about 22 minutes, I think, that I've been sort of going on, but I thought maybe it might be good time for some questions.
Thanks,
And
John. I
should I
appreciate.
unshare?
Yeah, if you can unshare, that would be great. I guess the thing I've learned from what you've said is that branding is related to a lot of different parts of your business, right? From your unique value proposition through to your logo. I know one of our questions that one of our listeners has asked is it's from Dion, and they're asking, what is the story behind Zeald's logo? Do you know?
Yeah, well, I hope I've been given the right answer, but the Zeald logo forms a percentage sign. So if you imagine the dot and then it's actually a percentage. So the Zeald's logo was based off we need to deliver results, and we deliver results off a certain percentage. So yeah, I, if Dave was here, I'm sure that he would back me on this. But
I know I've talked to Hamish before, and he's one of the owners and comes from that design background. I think he had a lot to do with it, and I think that's where it started. And I think then they liked that it was a symbol and quite clean. And then I know it's had different versions of it over the years, and I think that's something to kind of talk about when it comes to branding. Is you may have nailed it 5 years ago or 2 years ago, but you've got to keep your branding up to date and to review it to see if it still reflects your values, still reflects your, what you're trying to portray in the marketplace. But if anybody has any questions, please, this is a good time to ask them, and I can just grab them off the Q&A section at the bottom for John. But John, I do have one for you. If I don't have a website and I'm solely relying on that Facebook or other channels, maybe even I've seen some people just even putting things out on their personal Facebook pages. They might not even have a work one. Or a business one. Do you think that's sufficient to really generate that kind of branding awareness that a business needs?
yeah, good question. And this is just my personal take on it. Obviously, with any particular business looking to get their business name out there, oftentimes social media is a very good place to go. And so often, in most cases, Facebook business pages are created as a result of it because, well, it's free. Yeah.
Mm.
Um, but the thing is that often, in most cases, because you're in the business, you don't have time to manage the Facebook page. Well, unless you have no work to do, which is a concern because then that means that you're not bringing in any income.
Yeah.
Um, so obviously, there's a two-prong approach question to that, and if it's an e-commerce business, then I would encourage you to perhaps maybe apply if you're looking for an e-commerce website, apply for one of our gem-free offer websites to help you then generate perhaps some awareness with your Facebook page. The thing is that if you're only solely relying on your Facebook page, you will have to come up with an event campaign calendar and then also a rollout of content that you would need to push out to your audience. What that means is that you may have to come up with perhaps a campaign that would involve content being pushed out every couple of days or every week or every couple of weeks. And that content will have to be different and you'll have to have a story. So unless you have the time to put into that campaign calendar, then you're going to generate some real good awareness on Facebook unless you're looking at other alternatives.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would encourage you that if you're just solely considering Facebook as your main source of lead gen or sales, then I would encourage you to perhaps maybe review your campaign calendar, or what events or what content do you want to push out to them.
Thanks, John. I've got a question here from Abigail. She's saying, hi, John, nice info. So that's nice to start off with. But just wondering if Yellow Page are still relevant for marketing. We have advertised on paper copies of the Yellow Pages before, and now it seems to have faded out. So just wanting your opinion on that.
Yeah, so I need to be careful about my opinion about yellow, and the only reason why I say that is because I was once yellow, in the sense that I love Yellow Pages. Um, but to be frank and to be honest with everybody, we need to consider ourselves, well, where do you go to search for something? So if you were
Mm.
searching for a restaurant, I need to ask you the question, where would you go to search for a restaurant? Would you go to Yellow or would you go to Google? Um, so my opinion would be is that I would go to wherever the traffic is going to. If I was
It's
looking,
interesting, John, because I just saw a New Zealand Post media release in the last couple of days where they looked at the statistics for online shopping from 2019, and it's got a huge increase in people going online for prospective buying, just looking, and then also purchasing. So I think there is a trend there, definitely, for online shopping.
yeah, for especially for us now. I mean, everyone has. I mean, my 12-year-old even has a phone. Yeah, and I regret it for buying it for him. Um, but but that's because there was a reason for it. We wanted him to make sure that he was able to stay in touch with us, my wife and I. But the thing is that ultimately people have a phone. They have access from a push of a button. They're able to access the information that they need to make a decision. However, I know that a number of businesses invested thousands and thousands of dollars in their paper directory advert in the Yellow Pages book or the directory. Um, and yeah, for some time in traditional media, Yellow was a fantastic source of information where people could go to. But as you sort of mentioned and alluded to earlier, Rhonda, we've got statistics that show that
Mm,
end users are using a device. Unfortunately, it's not the Yellow Pages.
mm. Another one from Abigail. What do you think of LinkedIn? And I'm assuming this is from a branding perspective. What for you, how do you feel about LinkedIn as a tool for building your brand?
Yeah, LinkedIn is a fantastic place, I think, for building specifically value and personality of the individual or business owner. Um, Obviously, a LinkedIn page, I use LinkedIn for slightly different reasons, um, but oftentimes you can identify a customer segmentation of your end client that go to LinkedIn. And if you, and although LinkedIn is classed as a professional Facebook, if that makes sense, um, if you it's the like I said, I would refer back to what content are you pushing. For example, if I was an electrician or whatever it might be, I might be pushing perhaps on my Facebook business page as an electrician the top 10 things that you want to be asking an electrician, for your end user. But from perhaps maybe a LinkedIn perspective, the content that I'm pushing out there is more to do with high level electrician information. So So it's about what are you using those social media platforms for, and what content are you actually pushing to that customer persona or customer segmentation, because they're going to be utilized and used for specific reasons, different
Yeah.
reasons.
Thanks, John. I've got one here from another question from our attendees. Would you put a testimonial page as a separate page in the main menu or a second layer?
Really depends. Really depends how you've set up your wireframe of your website. So if your website's really, for example, if you've only got 2 or 3 on your main menu, and those 2 or 3 drop down might be about us, or your products and services about us and contact, then you could perhaps maybe have testimonials as a second level page within the interior wireframe of the site, or you could put testimonials as the top. Some businesses, especially if they're service-based businesses, on the homepage they will have a testimonials part as part of a component on the homepage. So if you just imagine going onto the homepage and then scrolling down a little bit more, they'll usually have a testimonials component, maybe scrolling of maybe 4 or 5 testimonials of clients that they've put on. So there's a couple of different ways that you could look at it, is from a homepage point of view or from a second interior level page.
Thanks, John. Another one, Facebook audiences, do you chase people that you already have, or what you would like to have? So I'm thinking this is your Facebook content. Are you just keeping your current followers informed, or are you trying to chase more people to follow you on Facebook?
Good question. That would all depend on who's giving you the KPIs, and if you're the one that controls the KPIs. The only reason why I say that is because if you're a marketing manager that is managing the Facebook um, business account, if the business owner is wanting specific KPIs met, then yeah, you could either chase the audience that you perhaps don't have, or you can continue to re-engage the audience that you already have. The thing is, for Facebook, you could have 35,000 followers, but if you only have 2 people responding to a post, then those 34,998 followers actually aren't engaged. So I would refer it back to, well, what is the objectives of the post and what is the objectives of the campaign? If the campaign is to generate an audience and just get feedback on a specific event, then manage it based on that KPI. If it's about,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Sorry, John, I just cut in there. I think that's really true. I've seen people not define their Facebook campaign goals very well, and they've generated a lot of followers, but they've actually been wanting sales. So if it's about brand awareness and that's the goal, then that changes the sorts of things that you're putting out and promoting on that campaign.
absolutely.
And therefore, yeah, maybe getting more new likes and more people signing up is actually the goal, because you're expanding your brand awareness.
Yeah, and that all depends on, well, what KPIs have you set before even setting the campaign and putting the campaign together? Are you wanting likes? Are you wanting followers? Or are you wanting actual engagement? You know? Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, John. I've got one for here from Emma. She's saying, you mentioned Pinterest before. How valuable do you think it is for a New Zealand/AU customer base? Is it less sales and more Instagram, e.g. pretty pictures? So is Pinterest more about just the pretty pictures for a New Zealand and Australian based company, or is it actually about sales?
Good question. And I would anticipate it would be based on whatever the product is being sold. Obviously, if it's something to do with, and I'm just going to throw some ideas out, right? If it's something to do with perhaps maybe fabrics or cushions or something really pretty, then Pinterest, yeah. If it's something quite sort of boring, then you may not necessarily have the engagement or even the amount of likes or followers. So I would anticipate it would be based on whatever it is that you might be promoting. I mean, some people create an Instagram and Pinterest business page to promote themselves, and it's all about, you know, their followers. But if it's about a product and those products have a value, and the only reason why I think of fabrics, because I think that there's different types of fabrics that you can get for a lot of money, you know, versus a $2 cushion, perhaps maybe a $200 cushion, and you can see the difference by the look and feel of that image.
Awesome, John. Thank you. That's been all our questions, and I think that's about all we've got time for. Really appreciate your help today, John.
Awesome.
I know we're doing well as a country when it comes to COVID and managing our new occurrences of COVID at the border, but the economic repercussions of the pandemic are still a little unknown, and there is a lot of speculation out there. But what we do know is your brand is an important factor of who you are as a business and in building trust with your current and potential customers. There is an opportunity to utilize and analyze where your brand is now and where you need it to be, then set up a plan to get there. My prediction is that businesses who continue to work and adapt their brand in the digital space will be more likely to be successful as they keep up with the times. And I recommend that your brand position is not a one-off thing, but something that you get to put a plan in place to review regularly to make sure that it does reflect who you are as a business. And Zeald has helped over 15,000 businesses transform digitally over the last 20 years. We provide a free strategy or website audit session with our team of experienced digital business strategists. Zeald launched our Get e-commerce movement to help Kiwi businesses get online as soon as possible. And just go to zeald.com for more details on how to get a free e-commerce website. We will be sending out an email asking for your feedback after this session. Please give us your feedback. It's really invaluable. It helps us design what the next topics are, and also lets us know where we can improve as well. We are running these webinars once a week as we share our top tips to be able to adapt and evolve in this challenging time. Our next webinar is next Wednesday on the 29th of July at 2 p.m. The topic is how to use Google Analytics to accelerate sales. This webinar will teach you how to use Google Analytics and advertising data to know exactly what is working and what's not in your marketing campaign, as well as identify where to invest your time and money. One that I'd really recommend you take the time to come to next week. A really special thanks to you, John, our expert. We really appreciate your valuable insights, and I really enjoyed our Q&A session. If you missed part of the webinar or would like to see it again, we'll be posting a video of the webinar on our YouTube channel. Please share it and with those that you think it might be useful for. If you and also register for that webinar that will be coming up next week. I wish you all the very best. Bye.
Ngā mihi.